This is how to replace a tailgate on a 2018 Nissan Frontier. Mine was damaged, so I needed a new gate shell. So I bought a new shell off of RockAuto and replaced it with all the guts from the old one. So first thing, obviously, you got to disconnect the backup camera, which is a clip right on the edge of the bed between where the gate meets the rest of it. And then you just have to take the two tethers off either side. Those can just clip off. I took the bolts out, but there's just a clip and you can slide them off. Then obviously the gate just lifts out and you can remove it. Now mine has a plastic bed liner, and that's held down over top of the gate with these 6 or 8 Phillips drive screws. So those just come off. They have a real broad head on them, and then that allows you to take the bed liner off if yours has that. And then I rhino coated my bed years ago, so I still have that on there, and that'll also remove the panel there. I need a 12mm socket to take off the latch. There's 2 bolts on either side of that, so those come off pretty easy. There's one on one side and a latch on the other side there. Now the latch is still tethered inside, but you can take it off later. Now I'm taking off the hinge. Of course, that's painted in, so that might take some doing. So I started with a driver, but that didn't work, so then I had to get a socket. And that'll take off then your hinge. And there's obviously one on the left side and one on the right side. And I try to keep track of stuff. I always label stuff left or right just so I don't get confused. That panel then just lifts straight off, and now you can see the inner workings of the latch. And you can see that the latch on the left and right is tethered to that central handle there. And there's these little clips, little plastic clips that you just unclip, and then that bar will come out, and that allows you to pull the latch all the way out from the side of the gate. And obviously one on the left and one on the right. Same thing there for the one on the left. Unclip it, and then that thing will pull straight out because we've already taken the 2 bolts that are holding it out. These little plastic inserts that hold down that panel kind of got stripped out pretty bad on mine. So I was looking for a replacement. Easier said than done, so I had to get kind of creative down the road to take those out. Now you have to have the wire that goes to the backup camera. Those are clipped in. Again, you try not to break those as you pry them out with a screwdriver. And then there's that plug that holds the wiring in. That unclips, and then you can pull the whole wire, like the whole harness type thing, out of that hole and set that aside. So now you're disconnected from the backup camera. Inside there's these foam blocks that stop the bar from rattling on the latch. I tried to save those foam rubber pieces. Those are just glued in, so I pulled those out. And now you have to pry the top over, and you're going to break the clips when you do this because that top cover, that plastic cover, is clipped top and bottom. And I broke probably 4 or 5 of them as I pulled it off. You can see that one's broke and that one's broke. I glue them later. But it's just one of those things where you got to be careful. Now there's these Torx headed screws that hold the other piece of that plastic to the rest of the beds. So it's a T30 on the Torx drives, and you just pull those out, in my case with an impact. Now you can see those are out. And then the latch mechanism is held from the outside, and I couldn't figure out how to get it out until I flipped the thing over and I found the 3 bolts. I guess there's 4 bolts that are holding this thing in. 10mm socket takes care of that. With an extension, you can pull those 4 nuts off, and then that'll release the latch, and you can pull that whole thing off. So it's still kind of clipped in, so once you flip it over, you have to kind of pull at it a little bit, but it'll go, and then the latch is free. So now we're stripped down to kind of the basic metal parts. Now these things are they're like rivets, they're threaded, they don't come out real easy. In fact, when I did get them out, it kind of destroyed the gate a little bit. So I had to improvise when I was doing the new one, where I had to get some 6mm lock nuts with some washers, and the same thing here. I had to get some different plastic inserts, so I went to like AutoZone or something and got some license plate inserts, which kind of worked to replace the damaged ones. That's how to take everything out. Obviously, putting everything back in is everything in reverse. And then, like I said, in this case, maybe bodywork would have been a heck of a lot easier, but I went for the whole new gate shell, and that's how I did it. I have a later video where I show you how I painted it, and I rhino coated the entire thing, interior and exterior, and that's worth checking out if you get a sec. Thanks for watching.